Hey there, Virgo. Welcome to your reading for the week of. No, this is for August. This is your August bonus reading for August 2025. You have this card that says step out of your comfort zone, and you also have this card that says the answers you need are coming. Funny enough, this card is full moon in Gemini. We have a lot of energy going through Gemini, especially with Uranus there. I think people need to realize that like Uranus in Gemini is a lot of energy. Uranus is Gemini's ruler is Mercury. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, and so, it's like a lot of energy. Uranus loves to be in Gemini, a very good place for it to be, number one. So that's good. We also have, the other good thing that will be benefiting you as well, Virgo, is that Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter loves being in Cancer as well. So, it's like we kind of have planets that are in a good place, which is good for once, compared to what we've been dealing with for many, many years. And, so I like to see that. But I think for you, on a personal level, and the good news about that Uranus and Gemini is that we are downloading a lot of information. I've been talking to a lot of people, and it's been coming up in my readings a lot, that people are just, getting crazy downloads right now. So I think that you could be one of those people here, Virgo, and it's definitely something I would pay attention to. You're in the area of how you're entering. I'm doing a Celtic cross, and the first card is how you enter into the reading, or how you're entering into this time. You have the Temperance card. A lot of Temperance energy this month, which is interesting. And Temperance is normally patience, but Temperance is like mixing two things together. Trying to create alchemy, trying to turn water into wine. Trying to turn your situation around. And that's kind of like more of the feeling that I get for you, Virgo, is that you're trying to create a turnaround, or you're trying to create some sort of improvement in your life. This right here is the path to glory with this crown in the background. And so, the Temperance angel could easily walk down this path and go get their crown, but they have to like go do it. So I feel that for a lot of you, it's like time for you to like go claim your crown. I feel like I said this to you recently as well. I also think you're going to have to step outside a comfort zone to get something you want here, Virgo, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. I think you're all different, obviously. And we have the world here. And it's coming up in the area of what's on your mind. So the world in the area of your mind can say you have a specific goal or an achievement in mind. You have something that you want to accomplish. I just feel like you just need to start, right? You just need to make the first move here with that card. Your crossing energy is the Hierophant. Doesn't surprise me at all. The Hierophant said, crossing energy can be what hurts you or helps you. Hierophant says you need to think outside the box as far as crossing energy is concerned. You have that North Node card, which is funny because the North Node is in Pisces, your opposite sign. South Node is in Virgo, which is your sign, Virgo. So South Node in Virgo wants you to color outside the lines. South Node in Virgo says, like, no, you need to be messy. If you're trying to be perfect, then you're going to have a really hard time. I know a lot of Virgos. I know how Virgo operates, right? And so, there you go, Virgo. I've dated a few Virgos as well. So, and some of them still watch. So, hi, how you doing? Number one. Number two, I know how perfect you try to be, Virgo. And I would just say that, I think that, getting messy, coloring outside the lines, not trying to be perfect is exactly what you need to do. And, there you go. You have the world. The world is an accomplishment or an achievement. So again, it's coming up in the area of what's on your mind or your thoughts. So I think a lot of you are thinking about a specific achievement at this time that you would like to accomplish. Whatever it is, you're saying to yourself, I would feel like I'm on top of the world if I got this one thing in my life, or I did this thing. And so I kind of feel that energy. It's like, yeah, sure, you have the opportunity to feel or to be on top of the world, but you are going to have to put the work in, and you're going to have to color outside the lines. You're going to have to be willing to be messy. You're going to make mistakes and, all those other things as well. And so, that's what I feel here. Like, I do feel like there are some things that you have to break free from. How if you're a child, right? When you were a child, if you did something and someone yelled at you, then obviously you were probably afraid to do that thing again, right? But obviously we are adults now. And there's something about that popping into my head where it's like some of you, it's like you want to accomplish something, which is great. But I feel like you still have that, wounded inner child thing going on. And so that might be a good thing for you to work on this month is, those like inner child wounds, or, it's like maybe something happened to you as an adult and now you're kind of a little bit hesitant to do it again, whatever it was, because you've been hurt. I don't know. There's like, and I just think that this month could be a good month for you to overcome this. It's almost like that's what the reading is saying to me. This part of the reading, it's like saying, Virgo has the opportunity to really kind of like clear something out, and like a blockage that you've had. So that could be a good thing for you to do as well. Next, in the area of the foundation, you show up here as the Hermit, which is great. Whenever you show up as yourself, it puts you in a position of power and strength. Showing up in the area of the foundation is even better, because it's kind of like saying that you are the foundation of the reading. And so, it really puts you in a very strong position. And I feel pretty good about that. There's not much to say really here, Virgo. He's kind of like been through a dark night of the soul. So a lot of you maybe have been through a very difficult period of time recently. Over the last several years, had a lot of challenges, which you probably have. And it's like now you're kind of like coming out on top. And that's kind of the feeling I get from this part of the reading. Next, in the area of the past, this is the energy that you're moving past. You have this beautiful uncaging card and this tall tale card. I do feel like you're being more honest about what your heart wants here, Virgo, and you have the moon. The moon can also represent fears, fantasies, illusions, lies. This tall tale card can represent lies. I don't really think that this is lies at all. I think that this is saying that there are just certain things that you hold inside that you probably really would like to do in your life, and maybe you just haven't let those things out. And now you are. I feel like you are opening your heart up to the world, which is great. It's like, I'm not saying you're putting yourself in a position where you're going to get hurt. I think this is more personal anyway. It's like you're just being honest with yourself about the things you want to accomplish, the things you want to do in your life, and I feel that's a good thing. I also do feel some of you could be literally letting go of a liar. We don't really see anything about this, but I kind of do feel that here, that if you dealt with like a liar, cheater, stealer in the past, you could be moving past that. You have the moon. The moon in the past, again, is actually pretty good when it comes up in the past, because, the moon is temporary, and the moon can represent fears, fantasies, illusions, not seeing things clearly. But when it comes up in the past, it basically says you've moved past it and now you're getting clarity. So I do feel that there could be a lot of clarity finally coming in for you here, Virgo, after a period of time that has maybe been confusing and just in general. I think you're thinking more about what you want as well, and like being more honest about it. And I don't know, I feel like I said this to you recently, but it's like, I don't really have any good examples, but it's kind of like how I feel about love sometimes, where it's like I've seen people who are clearly miserable. I've known people who are clearly miserable with each other, right? And it's like, it's like both of you don't really want to be with that other person. It's like, but they're just staying for whatever reason. It's like, I'm not saying this is love, by the way, but that's like the best example I can give you, is like, I feel like there are things like that in your life where you're saying, I really don't want this, whatever it is, and you're just like making the decision to move past it. Next, in the area of what the very near future, you have this Doctor card and this Letter card. So some of you could be getting, well, number one, I feel like this is kind of like love communication for whatever reason. It literally could be a doctor for some of you. And you have the Page of Cups, you have the Page of Pentacles. These are both really good cards for communication and love. So I definitely feel that someone could be reaching out, and we'll talk more about that in a second. Some of you could be focusing on your health. It's kind of hard with the South Node in Virgo, again, for like everybody is probably focused on health. The other thing I would say, based off the astrology, is also Chiron and Aries. I think with we're getting to the end of Chiron and Aries, kind of, and but there has been a lot going on with Chiron and Aries, and so I think a lot of people just could be healing, could be going through things that have to do with their health. They could be fixing problems. The list goes on and on there, so there you go. Also, in the very near future, you have the Page of Cups. Definitely could be an admirer for those of you that want love. I do feel this could be love. Could be water or an earth sign. Water and earth always stand out to me for you. So if you're looking for love, definitely could be either or. Could be any sign, general reading. I kind of feel like for some of you, this is a person you've had your eye on for a while. So if you're like looking for love, definitely could be... definitely could be kind of like someone you've had your eye on, someone that you're interested in. You have the Ten of Cups here, so, it's like sometimes I think with the Ten of Cups, it could be like a friend or, a person who's part of your community, someone who's like around you in some way. So if you're looking for a clue as to who this person is, there you go. But yeah, love looks really good here if there's love communication. The other thing is that he has this fish in this cup, and again, I think that whatever the world accomplishment is, you need to grab onto it. Whatever you're thinking about accomplishing, I would just do it. I actually wouldn't think too much about it, right? I think sometimes, like, I do this all the time. I cannot tell you how many times I get super excited about an idea and then I just let it die, right? Like, I lose the excitement because I don't get started. And, I feel that here, where it's like saying, you need to get started. Next in your outcome row, you have this companion dog. It says loyal, devoted, courageous, and friend. Could be attracting a true companion. You have this light and space card. It says enlightenment, purity, insight, and life. You really could be attracting a person who is like a light in life. This person could be brutally honest as well. I kind of get that feeling here, Virgo, where you could be attracting someone where it's like you get what you get. And there is, that is kind of like, I kind of feel like those relationships are actually better, where it's like, it is what it is, right? It's like they are who they are, and because at least then there's like no guessing, And so it could be like it could be a person who's like a real light. But I don't know, it looks really good to me. I think if you're attracting love, you'll be very happy about this. Next, in the area of the next few months, damn, Virgo, you have the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is everything you want and desire in your life. I always say that we don't just get the Ten of Pentacles. This is something that we have to work on forever. So Ten of Pentacles requires straightforward, diligent work. And, I think a lot of you could just be putting the work in to make this Ten of Pentacles happen, whatever it is. Ten of Pentacles is also building and leaving a legacy. So Ten of Pentacles can be something that we work on forever. It can say that we could be, building something like a business or a career, and we could be working on it permanently for a very long period of time. And, again, if you're working on anything permanent, I would say that this is definitely going to be very good for you. But this is very good for abundance, increasing your abundance, making more money, all that other stuff. I also love the Ten of Pentacles and, the Ten of Cups. You have the Nine of Cups in between them as well, which is really good. But, these two cards together in a reading, Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Cups, it really represents like fortune after difficulty. So if you've been going through a difficult period of time, there definitely could be some good fortunes here. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Nine of Cups. Again, this is amazing. This would represent all relationships in your life. And Nine of Cups would be permanent. It would be kind of like happiness, joy, fulfillment. So if you're doing anything with people, I have the word Boston popping into my head as well. So I don't know if you're like visiting someone in Boston. That might be for one of you out there, but I literally couldn't get it out of my head. So there you go. But I feel like for someone out there is going to Boston or is in Boston, doing something with friends in Boston this month. But what I would say here is that the Nine of Cups is a card of total fulfillment. So, number one, this is just very good for all relationships. Number two, it is a card of making a wish. So I feel that a lot of you could be getting into alignment with a person. The other thing that's popping into my head here, Virgo, is like I feel like you could be attracting a person who is also in alignment. Not even with specifically you. I'm just talking about with life, which is a better type of person to attract. It's like when a person, I truly believe this, and I'm far from perfect, but, I truly believe like when we get into alignment with life, when we realize that everything is a side effect of like who we are, and then we work on ourselves, then good things happen. It's like that's definitely the type of person you want to attract. A person who doesn't need anything external to look a certain way for them to make their life good, right? And yeah, I don't know, I'm 37 years old, I'm still working on this. I still haven't figured it out, right? But just like a theory I have that we should, instead of like focusing on everything external, we should be just focusing on ourselves, making ourselves the best version of ourselves that we possibly can, as cliche as that sounds. And I think if we did that our lives would get better. And so definitely something. And I'll tell you what kicks off my theory, right? Is that, really walking changed my life. But I was like getting healthy, and they say your health is in your wealth, right? Or your wealth is in your health, right? And so like I was getting into alignment that like that made my life better in so many ways. So I don't know. I feel like some of you there's something about that here where it's like you could literally be attracting a person who has already done that, or you could be doing this in your life in general, which would also be great as well. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have this Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is like a blessing in disguise. So there definitely could be some sort of blessing or fortune after difficulty coming in for you here this month, which would be great. Also an amazing card for happy home, happy family. And definitely if you want love, this reading looks amazing. So there could be a very solid connection. Now, one thing I will say is that you have the World in this reading. Whenever I have the Ten of Cups and the World in a reading, it really says that you need to bring this down to earth. These people are dreaming of those 10 cups. Those 10 cups exist above their heads. It's not a bad card, but sometimes I feel like the Ten of Cups says, like, don't get high on your own supply. Basically, it says that you could be fantasizing about something that is making you happy and visualizing it, which is great, but make sure you're doing the other side of that. Make sure you're also taking the steps necessary to actually manifest the dream on earth, right? And I think as long as you do that, things will, of course, go very well for you. And that's what I would do here. Also, by the way, an amazing card for dating. So, even if you don't have a specific person in mind, I think it would be an amazing time for you to get out there, meet new people, do whatever you can to meet new people. But if you want love, also you could be attracting a very solid connection. Your outcome is the Page of Pentacles. I like the Page of Pentacles for you. I mean, it's a card of newness, card of studiousness, card of learning. It kind of says you're learning about life in general, or you're learning from life, if that makes sense. And so, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of you could be doing some learning from life just in general here. The Page of Pentacles can also represent kind of like good news. So there could be like some good news coming in for you here. You could be hearing good news about something in general. I don't know, it is popping to my head as news and communication. Normally we look at knights as the communicators in the tarot, but pages, the Page of Pentacles to me can also be a communicator, so definitely could be communication coming in. On top of all that, definitely could be a new person. So you're clearly, for those of you that want love, you are clearly attracting like someone new, and it could be for the long haul. Again, Ten of Pentacles is also the best love card in the deck. Ten of Pentacles is everything that you want and desire in a connection. So you could really be attracting a solid connection here, Virgo. With the Temperance card and the Hierophant, you have the Justice card. Yeah, experimenting. I'm surprised the Nine of Wands hasn't shown up in this reading. It's giving me that type of vibe, this reading. Justice says, instead of like worrying about coloring outside the lines, which you need to do, you need to get messy here, Virgo, which I've said to you for the past 2 weeks. The Justice card says, just try a little bit and see what happens. Just run a little experiment. Your life won't end, believe it or not, if you do it. And, you see what happens. And I think little tiny experiments, little happy little accidents here, it would be a good idea. With the World, you have the Ace of Wands. Told ya. I'm telling you right now, that World popped into my head as like a goal or a thing, which normally that's not really what the World represents. It's an accomplishment. Intuitively, I feel like the World is like a thing, it could be an accomplishment that you want to accomplish. The Ace of Wands would be the inspiration. The Ace of Wands is out with the old, in with the new. It is a passionate new beginning. But, with the Ace of Wands is kind of like a spark. Sometimes I say with the Ace of Wands that it's like, if you're building a fire and you have a spark, it's like you have to keep putting wood on the fire. So this is something that you need to continue to feed, whether it's a goal. It's like maybe you need to feed your mind with good ideas on how to accomplish the goal. Maybe you need to learn more about it here and here with the Hierophant so that you can keep feeding the energy. It's like something needs to be fed, and it could be like an idea. With the Hermit, you have the Five of Cups. Yeah, I feel like you're letting go of a lot of past disappointments. You could be feeling a little bit nostalgic, like the first part of this month until like the 11th when the retrograde ends. And so some of you could be feeling a little bit of nostalgia in life, or you could be feeling nostalgic about certain things that have happened in life. And I really don't have much to add because I think that you're really letting this go in the first place, and you're kind of like ready for a new life. With the Moon, you have the Knight of Swords. Yeah, definitely could be like a liar, cheater, stealer. The thing about the Knight of Swords is it can just be a person who jumps to conclusions. And so some of you could be letting go of a person like that, a person who was in your life and maybe they just jumped to too many conclusions, or maybe they tried to move too quickly or whatever, but I feel like you're moving past it. I feel like you're also not like forcing things to happen anymore here, Virgo. I do feel a little bit like more relaxed. Like I feel like you are more relaxed. Maybe you're feeling a little bit less uptight over the next several months. And like, I actually feel this is going to be a lifelong thing. It's like, I feel like you're loosening up a little bit. With the Page of Pentacles, you have the Page of Cups, you have the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles, work hard, play hard. I also feel like saying this person isn't perfect, neither are you. It's like, every rose has its thorn, right? Page of Pentacles, there's like two sides. to this, So I'm not saying, like, I think you'll be attracted to this person, but there might be some things that you don't like, I don't know, maybe they, like, play too many video games or something like that. But it's, like, one of those things where it's, like, I don't know, I've talked about, like, this with people in the past. Like, I've had people ask me questions about this, or, like, they'll basically say, my boyfriend makes a bunch of money, but he plays video games. I'm like, it's, like, does it really matter then? It's, like, it's like if you're with a person who's successful in life, who cares how many video games they play? It's like the results speak for themselves, right? And I feel like this is saying, like, are you creating a problem? I'm not calling you out here, Virgo, because maybe it really is a problem, right? You're all different. You all want different things. So, I'm not calling anyone out here. It's like maybe they play too many video games and they ignore you. It's like, obviously no one wants that, right? So, is it really a problem or not? And I'm not even saying it's video games. I'm just using that as an example. But I do feel like some of you could be attracting a person where it's like, there was a meme that was going around, like at the beginning of this year, I think, where it was like, they're a 10, but, it's like they're a 10, but they have this one problem, And so I don't know what's going on here, but like, is it really a problem, or are you making it a problem so that you can avoid a connection that could potentially be good for you? I don't know. I can't answer that question, right? You have to answer that question for yourself. The Two of Pentacles also says, like, work hard, play hard. I definitely feel Mercury retrograde, especially because Mars went retrograde in Leo, and now we have Mercury retrograde in Leo. Mars at the beginning was retrograde at the end of last year into this year, and so now Mercury has gone retrograde in the same place. So I think we need to think about making sure that we're not wasting our energy. If you want to get real crazy about it, next year, Jupiter goes retrograde in almost exactly the same place in Leo. So, crazy. With the Ten of Pentacles, you have the Ace of Pentacles. Yes, definitely. This is coming up in the area of the next few months. There could be a lot of really solid opportunity coming in for you. Ace of Pentacles is opportunities that have the potential to grow. So money looks amazing, and also any opportunities that you're working on looks really, really good here, Virgo, with the Ace of Pentacles. So I like to see that. With the Nine of Cups, here you go. You have the Empress. This is a very good reading for sure. So number one, Empress says, doesn't matter what gender you are, you're very attractive at this time. Empress is a card of attraction and, being attractive. So you could be attracting new people into your life right now. You could also be attracting an attractive person, which obviously would be good. But, I think this is also just good. Like, all this right here is good for, people in your life in general. Getting benefits from people that you work with, people that you spend time with. There could be, you could be, and what I'm trying to spit out here is it could be a very popular time for you. With the Ten of Cups, you have the Knight of Pentacles. The other thing is maybe this person moves a little slow. Could be a Scorpio, because I just said the same thing to Scorpio, and you always get Scorpio in your readings. And you have the World, which is Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, and Capricorn. So there you go. But it could be that someone is moving slowly, but that might not be a bad thing. It's like sometimes I think especially with modern dating, it's like if you're so used to drama, if you meet a person who's just like slow and deliberate, but they're still interested, it's like you might take that as them not being interested, but maybe they are interested. They're just not a psychopath like the past 20 narcissists you dated, right? So it's like that's what I would say right there, Virgo, is that. Are you misreading a situation? Or, it's kind of like the reading saying to me there is potential to misread a situation. I'm not saying you are going to do it. I'm just saying pay attention, right? With the Page of Pentacles, here you go. Are you kidding? Two of Cups. That's the other problem. Two of Cups is usually a person who's different than your usual type. So, again, just like I said, it could just be some differences that you're picking up on here. I think there's attraction here, obviously. But, again, I think that there could be some differences. But Two of Cups is definitely a perfect match. So, this is an amazing reading if you're looking for love. You have this Boot card. It says, increase your efforts if you want to achieve your goals. I have been encouraging people this year to be very careful of how much work they put into things, because 2025 is a year of efficiency. I said this in all the 2025 readings. I think that there's a difference between working hard for hard work's sake and being efficient, right? We can still work hard and be, as long as we're being efficient. I think what's important is that this year, for the rest of the year, probably into next year as well, if you're doing something, it's like, are you getting more back or at least equal? If the answer is yes, great, keep going. If the answer is no, then you need to stop, right? But I do think that you could increase your efforts on things that are important, which would be good. You have this Rooster. It says, an arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. We all need to be careful of this. Again, the Mercury retrograde with Mars retrograde at the last year into this year, right? Yes, I understand Mars is not still retrograde. Doesn't matter. The Mercury retrograde is calling back to the Mars retrograde, so I would avoid it at all cost. You have this Taurus that says slowly but surely getting ahead. Knight of Pentacles basically says you're getting ahead, slowly but surely. So there you go. You have this Bull that says do not back down from opposition, show strength and fortitude. Yeah, definitely time to be strong, I think. I think it's time to focus. I think it's time to, really kind of put the work in and, push through things. So there you go. You have this younger woman that says dealings with relationships with a younger woman. You have this Rabbit that says too much concern with sexual matters. I would be careful with people like this. Again, maybe that's the problem. Or that's what I said to Scorpio. I said, and I'll say it to you because it shows up right here. It's like, sometimes maybe a person that doesn't try to jump into your pants, like in the first 30 seconds of meeting you, that might not be a bad thing. It's like maybe that's what you're used to. I think we all are in 2025 with the way things are in the dating world. I always say people just want me for my body, Virgo. I get it, right? And so I'm right there with you. But what I would say here is that, again, maybe meeting a person who isn't like that, it's actually a good thing, not a bad thing. So something to think about. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for putting up with me. Really appreciate it. And definitely enjoy your August.